Welcome to B-Rate Politics with Radio Guy, the YouTube version. Meaning that I do have a Patreon podcast that I do about 3 times a week. They're about an hour each. And of course, Monday's always free. So, don't hesitate. Check it out. I usually cover about 3 different topics. I already covered a couple of topic earlier that I posted on YouTube this week, which was about Asian hate crime. And now I'm going to dive into what's really annoyed me lately, which is this, especially when we're talking about immigration and what's going on down at the border, whatever you want to call it. If it's, I've done plenty of segments on what's going on at the border, but to sum everything up, essentially we're having a repeat of 2014 and 2019, that a lot of the people coming across the border are children. And of course, whatever you want to put them in, you can call it a cage, temporary holding cell, whatever you'd like to call it. But that's what's going on at the border. And I've really enjoyed watching all the different politicians, whether it's on the left or whether it's on the right, go to the border and then come back and talk to the cameras on this newfound information they have on the immigration situation. And that's kind of my point. I was sitting here thinking, I was like, if you have to go, and again, it's not just limited to immigration. I'll bring up another example. But in terms of immigration, if you have to go to the US Mexico border to figure out whether or not we have a situation going on, then I'd highly suggest you probably should just not even bother serving in Congress, in all honesty. If it takes you in terms of, and again, I don't care if it's left or right, I'm just criticizing them both in general. Like, oh, I went down to the border and I can tell you about all my travels down there. And that's really about it. That's really all I would gain from it, unless you're recommending to Americans to go see the slow moving turd river of the Rio for vacation, which I doubt it. I very well doubt that. It doesn't really offer anything of actual substance. It really doesn't. That in terms of immigration, I don't have to go to the border to know we have an issue. It's kind of like the war on terror. I don't have to go to the Middle East and watch the United States drop 47 bombs on average that we've done for the last 20 years, which I know a lot of people are probably like, wow, that's a lot, Radio Guy. And I'm sitting here going, nah, that ain't nothing. I thought that would have been a lot higher. That's not my estimation. That's an independent organization that had come out with that number. And again, that would probably be subjected. I would expect it to be even a little bit higher. But same concept, same concept. I don't have to go to Iraq or Afghanistan to know we have an issue on the war on terror. It's the same thing with immigration. I don't have to go down to the US-Mexico border. So please, for the love of God, or any other entity, or lack thereof, can we please stop with the whole, well, I went down to the border, and let me tell you, the Rio would be a great way for everybody to get a good taste of chocolate milk. Personally, I wouldn't drink out of the Rio, especially out of the Guadalupe, unless you just really like cattle. But in general, that's really what's annoyed me lately. You have to go to the border to figure out that there's an issue in immigration. You have to go overseas to figure out U.S. foreign policy. I don't. I'm in freaking Texas. I'm nowhere, especially in terms of U.S. foreign policy, I'm nowhere near Afghanistan. Hell, someone in North Carolina is a lot closer than I am. Just saying. And that's what's really annoyed me. But I'm telling you right now, it don't matter, Democrat, Republican. Well, we've gone down at the border. We've supervised the area, kind of really take it all in, get an idea. If it takes you to go overseas to figure out we have a U.S. foreign policy issue, or if it takes you to go to the U.S.-Mexico border to figure out that we have an immigration issue, then I highly suggest to just, serve out right now, but then just retire after that. And again, these are, some of these people that are guilty of doing it are, people from Texas even. Ted Cruz, campaign down to the U.S.-Mexico border. Because why are they doing that? Why are they going down to the U.S.-Mexico border? Do they really care about the kids? Do they really care about U.S. soldiers being overseas? Do they really care about who we bomb next? No, it's not. It's just a nice little, can splice it 5 seconds into the campaign ad I'm going to need when I run for re-election in the next 2 years, or if you're a U.S. senator in the next 6 years. That's all it is. That's it. That's all you've really managed to accomplish going down to the border or going and seeing and who we're nuking overseas. That's it. That's why at least for me, it drives me up a wall when, as of late, when if there's any discussion on immigration, it's, I went down to the Rio. Would you like a Nobel Peace Prize? Would you like me to kiss your ass? That's basically the only thing I can come out of it. I don't care, Democrat, Republican, they've both been doing that as of late. And, Republican more so, because they're really trying to stress the point of y'all aren't calling it cages now, are you? The point is, if you have to go down to the U.S.-Mexico border to figure out that we have an immigration issue in the United States, then I would just say retire. And in all honesty, with most members of Congress being a neo anyways, of course, now a lot of people are like, what's a neo? I think I've done a video on it. Just check out the prior ones I've done. But in essence, just think building better countries and multinational corporations. That's basically a neo in a nutshell. And that's most members of Congress. Out of 535 members of Congress, I will give a conservative estimate and say over 500 of them are some form of neo, whether they are neoliberal or whether they are neoconservative. That's what it comes down to. Essentially, building better countries and multinational corporations. But that's what the neos have been on as of late. And I'm telling you right now, they don't give a damn. They don't care how many, if Jesus, who's coming across the Rio, drowns, they could give a shit less. They really could. I've given this example on my podcast before when they talked about, well, the border's secured. But yes, there's a lot of kids coming. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, kids aren't a threat now? Okay, well, when it comes to the TSA, I'm pretty sure kids get patted down. I'm pretty sure overseas we've blown up kids before. But hey, remember, drone lives matter. Remember that. I'm really trying to push that because, like I said, drones are not cheap if they get blown up or they get hacked and some other country takes them over. It's very expensive. So remember that. Drone lives matter because, we're talking easily, $400, $500 million drone that gone. It's like, no, okay, no. Let's just fly it back to the military base. Okay, we're good now. All right. Whew. I know we like to take them out for a spin, but geez, let's, take it easy. Let's take a step back for a minute. But in general, it's stupid. It's dumb. Unless you're recommending Americans go travel to Afghanistan or Syria or to go travel down to the Rio for vacation, which I doubt it. I'm not really sure a lot of people that want to go vacation in Syria or want to go vacation down at the Rio Grande. At that point, for, hell, if you want to do that, just go vacation in the Guadalupe. Like I said, you'll find plenty of cattle, a.k.a. cow pies, that you can sling at each other in the river. I don't know what that's about all it does. And that's been one of my points. The whole point of this video is to stress, can we stop with the whole, I've gone to that said place, I'm now ready to have a discussion. Okay, here's my point, and I'm going to wrap it up with this. If you have to go to that said location, then you really don't have a grasp of the different issues that the United States deals with. And like I said, in my example I tried to give, I'm not just talking about immigration, I'm talking about U.S. foreign policy. I don't have to go to Syria to figure out that, a Patriot Act declaring U.S. citizens and over 7 billion people on the planet as terrorists, probably not the best idea. A blank check for the president to pretty much go and fight terrorists wherever they damn well please, probably not the best idea. I've talked about that on my podcast prior times. I remember when people were trying to figure out, like, oh, wait, can Trump go into Iran? No, he can't. Yeah, he can, actually. Fun fact. President of the United States can go anywhere to fight terrorists. Unless you figure out a way to, like, have a place where there aren't human beings, then at that point, it's kind of hard to go fight terrorists then. Um, But in the end, that's the point of this entire shindig that's really annoyed me. It's really annoyed me as of late. So I'm really trying to stress this. I'm like, oh my God, can we please stop? Like I said, a couple of different topics we covered. I didn't really cover this topic on my podcast, but I had kind of made mention of it. Again, this was on the Monday podcast, which, like I said, you're always welcome to go check out. Usually try and cover 3 different topics. Sometimes it might be economics. Sometimes it might be more political. Like recently, I just now had covered the Matt Gaetz situation, And of course, keeping it fair, I had prior times already talked about good old Governor Cuomo and their sexual deviancies that they've had going on. Basically, long story short, one really likes the younger generation, and then the other one really likes interns. So there you go. If you want to know the scandals going on there right now. But Democrat, Republican, keep it fair. Fair and balanced, as one station likes to claim. But anyways, I will leave everybody with that. Again, hopefully you've kind of enjoyed the videos. I'm going to probably, change up where I'm sitting currently, but I just, kind of just to get something back out there on, rant. And that was radio guys rant essentially. But again, I hope everybody has a good weekend, and also hopefully everybody had a good Easter. I forgot to mention that in the previous video. Hopefully everybody had a good Easter too. And with that, I thank you all again for watching and listening to B-Rate Politics with Radio Guy.